first weekly. I'm talking about the beta.
Okay, the beta tournament with the 40
40
tournaments, 40 teams. It was one shot versus Mix 6, and one shot was that method team, and they did beat Mix 6, which was Twitty, Olba, guys like Mitcher. Those are the only guys I remember from that roster.
Man. That was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago.
Bring
Anyhow, guys, we're getting started here. We're in the finals. We've got Shrugger and Icy both on the Pharahs here. Can Slayer Gramps get a hold of Ultimate Wep is the real question. They kind of struggled in the semifinals here, but they're going to look to get off on fire. And Chronodota the first to drop. It is a Winston for a Winston right now. And Tracer going down. Ultimate Wep not getting off to a hot start. They might be able to press their advantage here on the blue side.
And they're really just putting that pressure down onto Ninjanik as well, forcing that Lucio out and away from the rest of his team. And man, they're doing a good job of just separating these guys. Now Chronodota is just kind of alone on the point a little bit. Icy taking a lot of pressure, somehow staying alive with the help from Pulsis. And it looks like they have actually demeched Mystic, which is opening up an opportunity now for them to put some pressure onto this left side.
Pulsis gets a big res off as well as Fluff goes, or excuse me, Fluff gets back up into the fight. It was a valiant effort, I'd say, from LCG to try to make their way back onto the point and contest as best they can. But ultimately, it will go over to Bleh, guys, capturing the first objective points. A little unexpected. I honestly was expecting LCG to come out on fire and just kind of sweep them in this set overall. But Bleh guys definitely have something to say about that. Definitely a talented, experienced roster. We'll see what they can find here with the Pharah Barrage ready to go in the sky. It's going to be a self-destruct. Can he get anything? Gonna find Shrugger. That's a nice pickup.
And self-destruct coming out from the other side as Mystic drops one of his own, and he's going to go back into his mech. I'm not sure if that was entirely necessary because, you know, of course now he's going to be without that option. And there was no reason to just get that mech back because the team had already been losing that fight. So now 35% to Bleh guys as they are looking to control this even further. Calvin is a cat and Pulsis both with those ultimates, so support looking very, very solid at the moment.
Icy just pummeling them down with rockets on the bridge. He is forced to go low ground though, so they are able to make their way to the point. We're going to see Valkyrie come out from Pulsis along with the sound barrier from both sides, so no immediate kills, but a barrage up top. Can Shrugger get anything? Doesn't look like immediately, but he does follow through with a kill onto Calvin. A big pickup nonetheless. We'll see Pulsis is going to be able to bring him back up into the thick of things. Hurix, we're at 64% right now. If they can just continue to stall this one out, a barrage from Icy. No one is there to contest. He finds one for himself, Hurix. And they're going to continue to maintain control, it seems, unless Shrugger and Ultimate Wep have something to say about that. Looks like that's the case.
Ultimate Wep just cleaning up on the point, but here's the thing, that wasn't really about winning the fight there for Bleh guys, I don't think. I mean, yeah, that was the main objective, but it wasn't really what they needed. What they really needed was to just keep holding that point down, keep securing that scoreline for themselves, and allow their point score to go up. And that's exactly what they were able to accomplish. Now moving into this next fight, they also pulled out a couple of ultimates themselves from LCG, so they have that opportunity to get a well-executed dive-in play and maybe take a couple of instant picks onto a guy like Chronodota who's taking a lot of pressure already here. But if they can find some early kills, they might be able to retake this point pretty early.
Loving what I'm seeing from Icy. He's continuing to pummel down those tanks with the rockets. No one really contesting him. They do force out the Valkyrie from Ruby, but not quite able to get Chronodota. But Ultimate Wep in the back, he finds a crucial stick onto Pulsis. And that's going to be a nice pickup. They might be able to pull this one back, given the fact they don't have that Mercy on the point. Self-destruct forced out, though, from the Diva. Doesn't quite get any kills, and LCG continue to hold.
Now Slayer Gramps forced to kind of back off a bit. Going to be taking a plunge off the side of the map at the moment. And although it looks like this has been mostly a one-sided affair, LCG now is only 20 seconds away here, Storm, from being able to get this all tied up on this first point here on the Gardens. And
check out Ultimate Wep right now. I think he's maybe expecting someone to come around the backside looking for an easy unload if possible. But the thick of the fight is actually happening on the bridge here. He's going to make his way to the point, or over to the fight, rather. Self-destruct, not quite. Oh, he does find Pulses despite that sound barrier coming out from both sides here. And they're really just going to be forced to back off of this once again. And that's going to be lead taken from LCG. And they very well have put themselves in a commanding position to be able to take this first round now.
Now we have to wonder here, are they going to be able to hold this out? Are they going to be able to even get onto the point, actually, on the other side of things, where It's now at 98%. They do have someone there. Ruby's pretty close here to getting a Valk of his own, but Pulsis already has that one out. They're not needing any reses just yet, but those charges are going to be very, very crucial if they want to get those guys back into play, should it be required later. And he's going to take Strugger out in the skies, going for the reses. They're trying to shift the momentum back in their favor. Can they do it?
I mean, they pick up 2 people from Pulsis, Calvin and Icy back in this one. They still have Icy dangerously low at this point. It looks like LCG have the numbers advantage on the point. They certainly do right now. They need to take care of Ruby, who is just not being contested whatsoever. With Pulsis down here, it's looking like this could very well go to LCG. Diva will be demeched as Icy makes it, or excuse me, that's going to be Hazy back on the point. Has the reset with the self-destruct, but he tosses it out into nowhere. They're still picking up the kills here. This is looking... Bleh guys now have a numbers potentially advantage on their side, but Ninja Nick comes through with a nice sound barrier, going to keep them healthy on the point and potentially be able to take this round.
Pulsis on the Soldier just to get back into the fight, as Ruby does have that res available, but is forced to get out of the fight just to stay alive right now, and trying to get that Valk worked back up might be what they need. The nice res onto Chrono Dota to just maintain their ability to just hold the point down and keep control of the objective. A little bit of a fight between the Pharahs, certainly going to determine who has the most pressure onto the point once one of them comes away the victor.
It's so back and forth right now. Kills going over to Bleh guys, though. They are at 83%, so they will not immediately take the round, but one heck of a performance there in that fight from Bleh guys, battling their way back in overtime. If they stepped off for a split second, that overtime would have just dropped instantly, and now they're going to push it into their own overtime right now. Mystic needs to get onto the point. They are going to be able to do just that, but a barrage in his face as he crosses over. Icy gets himself killed during his barrage. Self-destruct not quite going to be able to find its mark here, because both teams are kind of out of ultimates right now, other than Ruby, who is still in Valkyrie, but doesn't have either Resurrect available at this time here. We'll see if they're able to find anything. Overtime going to tick down rather quickly at this point.
I think in this situation, you really need to start focusing down the Lucio. Remember that Pulsis actually swapped over to the Soldier in order to, even just get back to the point to be able to secure that fight for them. And now they finally do kill off Calvin the Cat, who, as I was saying, he's the only support on this roster right now, in the composition right now, rather. So with Pulsis coming back, he's going to be able to have some healing, and they finally do take the fight, but... man, would that have been different if they would have been able to actually secure the kill onto Calvin as a Cat a lot earlier, so that there would have been no healing left on the side of Bleh guys, but other than really just the biotic field from the Soldier.
Love what I saw there from Bleh guys, just continuing to punch down LCG here. And I mean, going into this one, I think it's no secret that both of us thought that LCG had a little bit of an advantage in terms of who was on their roster with Shrugger and Ultima Wep, but those are 2 guys we really haven't seen in a long time, and we know what Slayer Gramps and Icy can do as well, with being offensive threats. So they do manage to squeak out the first round for themselves. We'll see what they're able to do here on Night Market, and if they can take a 1-0 lead here in this best of 3 finals.
Now they're looking to secure it. And important to note that Ultima Wep was a Genji player back in his day, so playing the Tracer isn't really that strange, but if it does get into a situation where they need like a mainstay hit scan, I don't know who exactly is going to be playing that role.
And they do get off to a pretty good start. I mean, there's no questioning what Ultima Wep was able to do on the Tracer in that fight, so an easy pickup for the first points for those guys. Icy just going to back off of this one and get a regroup with his team, as Ultima Wep maybe looking to get into the back if possible, but quite a significant advantage in terms of Valkyrie versus Valkyrie from Ruby to Pulsis right now. Well over 40+% on him, and they're going to continue to play this one rather aggressively, see if they can get up to a Pulse Bomb, as Slayer Gramps may be looking for a little bit of a back cap, but not going to be the case. He's in the thick of the fight right now. They get onto the point, trying to pull the rest of LCG back.
Ruby now holding on to that Valk here, and actually gets taken down, just walking into the Pulse Bomb there, coming from Slayer Gramps. Now they're looking to retake, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. There's no ultimates that they're holding on to. Calvin is a Cat now at 95%. Won't be able to get that sound barrier up for this fight, but they won't need it.
Very strong start for the side of LCG, but Bleh guys pull it back with a crucial pick off onto Ruby, who thankfully for their own sake did not actually drop the Valkyrie in that fight. Would have been a massive ult gone out of the picture. Sitting on both support ultimates is going to be pretty big, especially for initiation. If they can manage to get Chrono Dota into the back, look for a kill on the Pulses, potentially. Need to be very wary, though, of what Icy is about to unleash onto him with that barrage. Can they find it? He's going to drop it down onto him, but it's going to be a diva in his face. Icy gets taken down. Shrugger finds a great pickup for himself. Now his own barrage comes kind of from the outside. Not the best positioning from him. A safe position at that, but now sound barriers out from both sides here. It's Pulses coming up on his own Valkyrie. Self-destruct picks up 2, and that could be what LCG needed to secure the point.
I wasn't sure about that. Slayer Gramps, I think he thought that that barrier was going to time out and he wasn't going to be safe from that, so he went for a little bit of a clutch play and just didn't work out for him. Now we're going to be seeing Ruby still with that Valkyrie from LCG. They're going to be able to hold on to this point now, and while it is still kind of at a little bit of a draw at the moment, it's going to be LCG pulling away slowly here, and we do look at the ultimate lines right now, and it certainly seems as though LCG, who do have control of the point right now, are at a significant advantage. They have the pulse bomb as well, just to solidify that one. We'll have to see if you can actually find anything with it, and that's going to be a distinct no.
Well, Valkyrie's coming out from both sides right now as they make their way onto the point. Don't really have anything to work with at that, T-Rex, other than coming up on a pulse bomb from Slayer Gramps. So that's really going to be what secures this. If anything, I'd say, as Calvin is taken down, going to force out that first resurrect. His pulse is still sitting on another, but there's the pulse bomb. Mystic going to be taken out of the picture. That's a great pickup, but T-Rex, they're at 87% for the side of LCG. All they need to do is hold on to 99, and they're going to be in a great spot. Primal Rage now out from Chrono Dota. It's a barrage up top. Shrugger is uncontested in the skies. He cleans it up for the squad, and it's looking like the second round is going to go to LCG.
That was such good isolation at all levels. Shrugger, like you said, completely uncontested up in the air there. And on top of that, Chrono Dota did a great job of just pushing that enemy Winston Fluff out of the map completely, just finding different angles to keep him out of there. But while he was just trying to jump up and get back onto the playing field, he was just knocked around repeatedly until he finally just wasn't able to jump back up. And it was things like that that allowed them to secure it. And now going over to this control center map, and it is map 3, so winner of this one will take the first point here in the finals. We will see Shrugger now onto that Junkrat, and interestingly enough, we do see a Moira in play from Calvin as a Cat. You would typically see something like a Lucio here, I would imagine, maybe a Zen, but a Moira, just not that often. Oh, and
this will be a fun one. Pulse does make the change over to the Mercy
for the speed boost,
as advised. We'll see. Ninja Nick does stick with the Lucio though, so a little bit of a difference in what they want to run as Pulse is the first to fall, and again, Ultima Web helping his squad get off to a very hot start. That's exactly what you're looking for. It's going to allow Sugar to create some room with those nades, see if he can find any additional picks here, as they are taking a lot of heat from him.
And now Ultima Web is kind of dealing with this Tracer of Slayer Gramps, who has been contested before, we've seen, and doesn't get that health pack, either of them actually, so forced to recall. So Ultima Web now at a heavy advantage in this matchup, so he's just going to fall back. Slayer Gramps doesn't want any of that right now, and that is certainly going to be the smart play in this situation. As Moira pulls out the Coalescence, are they going to be able to get anything off of it?
Doesn't really look like they did. Maybe a little bit of space was made for Fluff, but it seems to maybe have punished him. He's in the back, but Riptar finds Calvin. Pulse going to be able to bring him back up. Kills are aplenty for both sides right now. Looking for that Pulse Bomb and Graviton Surge combo. Hazy going to get caught in that one. Pulse Bomb's out there. Doesn't quite connect from the side of Ultima Web, but they still find the kill on the Pulses. They're going to maintain control, getting 40% here in the third round. Looking to go up 1-0 in the set.
Oh, that trap almost took Chrono Dota out of the picture, but he was able to sustain just long enough where he's going to be healthy and be able to be with his team. But look at Mystic right now. Has been at high energy almost throughout, absorbing a lot of this pressure, not just from the Reinhardt, but also from the Junkrat, of course. And they put him up there! That was such a good boop up! They completely denied the Earthshatter!
Oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Earthshatter comes down from Chrono Dota. It's going to be just as anticlimactic if he doesn't find anything either behind the Reinhardt shield. The Graviton Surge from Hazy will help them clean this one up, but Ruby is back here. Brings up 2. They're going to try to push this to 99%. Might possibly even take this fight if possible. Chrono Dota pins one into the wall. He's going to get dropped though. Shrugger He's got the support from Ruby, but he's just going to kind of bring out the Battle Mercy if possible, as he should be taken down along with Ninja Nick. They're going to end up giving up this point at about 90%.
Please, someone send me that clip. If you can send me that clip, I would absolutely love that. I mean, either way, I'm going to go back and look at it, but a clip would be faster. So please send me that if you can. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that particular spot, that particular setup where it just falls on top and the Earthshatter denied. That's insane.
Playing is a question. Playing question mark is what I'm asking right now. A Pulse is though going to be taken down here because this is very well looking like it's going to go over the Riptire. Is going to connect on the Calvin, and this is going to go back to LCG. They do part, they get a parting gift there. As Riptire from Icy, can he hold the ground? No, he's going to be taken down by Shrugger here. They are going to be able to contest. They've got the Mercy. They've got 4 back, but there are no tanks for LCG here because they might be forced to retreat until Chronodota gets back in the fight.
And now Fluff is really kind of under duress as well, where he's going to be turning his back completely over and over and over again. Ultimate Web takes a little bit of pressure, but he's going to be able to get away with his life, and now it looks like LCG is going to be backing them up. Overtime going to tick down, and LCG will be the victors of this map, unless something miraculous happens with Pulses taking that res onto Icy and Fluff.
He gets 2, but they have the sound barrier at their back right now. The Earthshatter comes down. Fluff not quite able to find anything. He's going to be dropped at the hands of the Riptire. And overtime will tick down as soon as Mercy is going to be taken down. Pulses Battle Mercy try to save the day. He is going to get slashed there. And it will be LCG taking map number 1.
So you'll have to remind me, what is the second map here for this matchup?
Route 66.
Route 66. So what we've seen so far is back and forth between these two teams in the first fights, and Route 66 is oftentimes a pretty dive-heavy map. Could be a little different, especially into Stage 3, where, a lot of times you'll see teams swap over to a Reinhardt, and now maybe even an Orisa, where you see the Roadhog paired with that as well. Certainly going to be a possibility, but we never know what these teams are going to be capable of, what they're going to want to pull out, especially given the DPS duo of Ultima Wep and Shrugger. You remember back in the day where, we did see some Tracer play and stuff, but ultimately Shrugger and Ultima Wep were known for playing some of those projectile roles and everything. Ultima Wep, I remember being heavily favored on the Genji, and then Shrugger was pretty much the same thing, and then, fairly good at the Pharah as well. So now the question becomes, what kind of comps are they going to be running? They do have that ability to play hit scan, but is it as potent as what we would see from something like Slayer Gramps? So far, that matchup has been nothing but Tracer versus Tracer, where it has been back and forth, but if it comes down to, a McCree or a Widow, how is that going to look in comparison?
This could very well be the final map of the night, guys. LCG is trying to take it 2-0, go undefeated in tonight's tournament. And the third map would be King's Row if we do head to that one, a map that we did see Bleh guys actually kind of they struggled, albeit they took it, but they did struggle on that map up against their semifinal opponent, which was Second Wind. But Second Wind, obviously a pretty stellar performance nonetheless. So we'll see if LCG are going to get off to a hot start. They will be on offense to get things started here. We'll see what Bleh guys want to toss at us on the defensive side of things. I can't imagine it's going to be anything out of the ordinary, but Slayer Gramps on the Roadhog for the first time here.
We might just see the Orisa pulled out, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. They're instead going for, this is a weird, okay, so it's the triple tank. Okay. I was going to say, this is kind of weird that they're going without the Diva, but then I looked just to the left and thought Hazy was on the Diva, so they're going to instead go for what is going to amount to a very front-end heavy composition with Icy supporting a little bit as well. Those certainly looking like the flashbangs are going to be very high impact, and now they do make the Orisa change, and that's kind of what I anticipated beforehand. I was surprised to see it being a Winston, but interestingly enough here on the attacking side, Shrugger is going to be on the Widow. And I imagine when Ninja Nick is just checking this front side, and now he's going to be swapping back over to the Mercy, which you do see as well. And Ruby is now over to what we remember Ruby as, which was the Zenyatta. So Shrugger going to make a swap himself. Now the question is, what is he going to be swapping to?
We'll see if he wants.
Genji. Alright.
Okay, Genji. All right, we've seen the Shrugger Genji quite a bit of that in the past.
Yep.
Here, the real question is how can they break this barrier from Fluff? What are they going to do, especially with Ultimate Web getting picked off rather soon? It's going to allow for Slayergramps to maybe press the attack, look for a pick if he can with the hook. Not going to be the case though.
And this is the thing about this composition, or this team LCG. You're going to see them being very dive heavy, very dive focused, very aggressive with Sugar and Ultimate Web because of the hero pools that these guys have. If you run an anti-dive, you're going to be at a little bit of an advantage as opposed to what you would typically see. Now Chrono Dota taking a lot of pressure early on. They're not going to be able to solidify that kill, but Calvin as a cat taken down. That's a big opening for this dive team.
And Fluff is going to be dropped as well, so they aren't really going to have much of a front line other than seeing what the D.Va can maybe do, but they're going to back off of this one. In the back, Pulsis gets stuck, and that should very well allow them to at least push up to the gate. We'll definitely see a contest here from Slayergramps, though doesn't quite have the whole hog like you would probably want right now to push them off the payload. Not quite going to find the hook either, so it might just be Swords to back off. No, D.Va going to look to contest, see what they can do with this Deadeye potentially from Icy. But a Shrugger Dragonblade comes out here looking for Fluff. Not quite going to find him right away. Doesn't actually find much at that here. It's his Pulsis comes out with a Valkyrie, picks up 2 for himself. Ninja Nick tries to do the same, but dangerously close to falling. He will find 2 Resurrects before being dropped as a self-destruct on the payload. Looking to find some kills. Going to find the D-Mech on the Hazy.
Ultimate Web still looking to try to kill off Slayergramps, and he does do it finally here, and they're going to take this first point, get it on the board for themselves. And remember, they're up 1-0 right now, and they're going to be more than likely on a dive comp throughout this series, and I think it's very good that they were able to get Route 66 on the board. What a nice stick coming out, but not going to be able to solidify a kill there. Nonetheless, I do think it's good that they got this map because, you know, like as I was saying, the dive is very good on this map. And what is actually the map 3? Do you remember?
It is King's Row.
King's
Not
Row.
to mention here, I mean, they're off to a fantastic start with 4 minutes to work with for the second phase of this map. Only a couple of team fights really all it's going to take, but maybe Calvin, maybe Hazy, or excuse me, maybe Hazy has something to say about that with a self-destruct if possible. But up top, Calvin forced to use that Transcendence. Maybe not the best place to actually use it, given his entire team was kind of dispersed at that time here. Back and forth, but a Dragon Blade again coming out from Shrugger. Can he find anything? Immediately takes down the ultimate out there from Fluff. Picks up the kill onto him as well, and they will continue to cruise forward here. We'll see if we have any changes. Fluff moving over to the Winston.
So now they're going to go for a little bit of a counter dive themselves, given the, you know, the DPS that they have employed right now on their composition, which is going to be a dive DPS with the double flanker, Genji and Tracer. But now they're looking to try to put some pressure onto Shrugger. They want to be able to deny him a little bit. That's why you see that Winston swap. But the question is he going to be able to even get in a position where he can do anything about it? Because now he's going around, he's having to deal with Slayergramps. They're pulling them apart. That's a big reason why LCG has looked so good so far. They just are able to split these guys so effectively.
Icy finds one before being dropped himself. Gonna even things out as a self-destruct grabs one for himself, and now Hazy's gonna actually be forced out of his mech here. Ninja Nick does have the Valkyrie as he comes back off of respawn. We'll see if he's gonna be able to pick anyone up off this. If they can continue to move forward, it's a real question right now. I mean, Fluff isn't in a great position, doesn't have any support, so it's gonna be payload moving forward.
They're continuing this too. I mean, it's been pretty steady, pretty consistent so far. Now they're getting very aggressive, trying to just put a lot of pressure on that opening to just make sure that they can shut down any entry back onto the area of play here. And it looks like they've denied them to some degree, but still losing Chrono Dota, going to force out that Resurrect.
No one's really looking for Ninja. I mean, he's just kind of, Ninja Nick is just up in the air. He was back just healing his team. No one was really a threat in the back line. Now Slayergramps is trying to do something, but on the payload, he's looking for something with the self-destruct, looking to create a little bit of space as they force out a Transcendence. They need to take care of Pulsis, though. We'll see if they can do it with their own self-destruct in the back. Hazy picks up 2. Both supports go down. What a play. But honestly, I just don't know if it's enough because now another Dragon Blade's out from Shrugger. He finds 2 for himself, looking for a third. Not quite going to be the case, though. And finally, some resistance coming out from the defense.
I'm not really sure about that. They used both of those ults. I think they thought that they could just, with that DPS tandem, just take down everybody who was trying to stay on the point. And the pulse bomb would either separate them to allow for the blade to have a lot of efficacy, or they would just get the kills that they need and the blade would just clean up whoever was left. But both supports got taken down earlier by that self-destruct, so you didn't have any support for the Genji to be able to just open up. He would be forced to deflect or something, but you're able now to finally get that kill onto Calvin. We might see a res coming out, but that's a kill onto the Mercy, so no res at all for them going forward, and they deny Icy as well on the blade.
They do get Ruby, but like you said, a kill for all of that really not going to be worth their while here. So they will get themselves that additional 90 seconds. We'll see if Ninja can get to the short spawn. It's looking like that's going to be the case just in the nick of time. 210 to work with here to complete out this map. LCG, though, they did meet a little bit of resistance on the defensive side of things. We'll see if that's going to be the case this time around. Slayer Grams going to look to open things up with the pulse bomb kill if possible to get things in their favor.
And he's sneaking around. Has a nice opportunity to stick Ruby. He somehow gets the kill, even though Ruby does spot it and is able to deny that stick from happening. Still got the kill. They're moving forward, getting aggressive off it as Icy actually takes down the mech from Mystic, and that's going to be a big opening here for Bleh, guys.
Buying themselves a little bit of time, which is exactly what they want to do, especially with the payload not having moved at all from that second objective here. They pretty much want to see if they can force it down to 2 team fights if possible right now. Obviously, they're going to be forced to back off a little bit, but Icy only at 50% towards that ultimate. Shrugger definitely seems to have a little bit higher uptime with that one. We'll see what he's able to make of it. They're sitting on 6 ultimates, trying to create some space in the back with the self-destruct and Primal Rage. Not quite immediately going to find any kills, but the payload is moving forward at that. Shrugger now maybe going to unsheath the blade. Not quite. Transcendence comes out here along with the Valkyrie on the defensive side. Hurix ultimate after ultimate, but not a lot of kills really going in either side's favor.
And we're just kind of waiting to see if Shrugger wants to pull that blade out. At this point, I wouldn't recommend it. And now it's going to be Icy pulling one out of his own. And I don't really think that they really needed that. I mean, we saw a couple kills going over to the side of LCG, but you know, until they get those supports back in play, it's not going to be looking like it's on their side. And finally, we do see things going to the side of the defense as Shrugger's still holding onto that blade for these guys. But I think Ninja Nick really wanted to be a little bit higher coming away from that fight in terms of his ultimate percentage. Having that Valkyrie in play would be big for them. Calvin as a cat does have the Transcendence. They're going to want to pop that early or get an early kill or find a kill away from the Transcendence potential area of effect with Shrugger when he does pull that blade out, because that could certainly deny them.
This is it. Shrugger has to make waves. Ultimate Web on the Doomfist. See if he can find any immediate kills. Trying to deal with Icy in the back, but they lose one early on here. Ninja Nick, man, they are just not in a great spot right here to be able to find any Resurrects at that. Shrugger didn't get anything accomplished with the Dragon Blade either. Hurix, this is looking like potentially a solid hold just after that second checkpoint coming out here. The Primal Rage going to try to stall as best they can, but he is all alone. Coronadota going to be taken down. Ruby, Mystic trying to make their way back, but Icy with the Dragon Blade will be able to clean this one up and be able to make a solid stance here on Route 66.
Shrugger trying to make his way with the Sombra. Can he get there? I don't know if that's going to be possible. Hazy going to be trying to hold that down. They do make it as they've been able to secure at least some kind of hold onto the point. Pulse is coming back, though, getting a res onto Fluff, but he needs to find a lot more damage if he wants to be able to kill these guys off. I think they're going to be able to push it a little bit further here.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Shrugger isn't even close to an EMP, though, so not really good. They forced out the other Resurrect to get Ultimate Wet back up into the fight as he's immediately dropped once again. Can Shrugger get up to an EMP is my question right now. On the defensive side, Pulses with the Valkyrie out. We'll see if he's able to be dealt with. Shrugger is not quite ready to go. He's got it, Hurix. He needs to make a big play right here with the EMP coming through. The real question is, do they have any follow-up? Is Ninja Nick going to be taken down? They don't have much damage really available for them, Hurix.
Yeah, the EMP comes out, but I don't know what they're going to be able to find. They actually do find 2, make it 3 off the mech, if you count that one. Calvin as a cat goes down from Ultimate Weapon as well. That EMP was just enough to secure the kills with the lack of mobility skills that they could use because they were all EMP'd. They found those kills. Icy's probably going to be able to clean this up, perhaps, but Mystic finds the kill onto him as well, and the reses come out. That's going to get Ultimate Weapon back up in play. The Tracer's back up. I don't know, LCG somehow from the brink of defeat, twice they're able to secure it.
In the back, it's a Primal Rage coming out there from Fluff. The Pulse Bomb does get the D-Mech on the Mystic. Up top, Hazy finds 2, though. Again, finding a nice play, and that's exactly what they needed to finally be able to clean this one up. But that payload moved a lot further than I think it should have, and that very well could end up making the difference. We'll have to see what Bleh guys can do on offense.
0-2, switching sides.
Man, absolutely intense. I mean, if you think about it, that is just getting that far. Now what we'll see is things swapping again, and something to note is Shrugger actually being on the Soldier. So Ultima Web has been pretty much a tracer throughout the series, and Shrugger has been taking up every other role. That's something that we have seen a lot at the highest level right now, where you often see, you know, a tracer main, and then you see a flex DPS, someone who can play the hit scan roles and the you know, things like Widowmaker, things like Pharah, things like Genji, things like Soldier, all of those things fairly effectively. McCree as well, even to some degree Reaper and Bastion even, where, you know, a lot of times the support will play that now if they have the hit scan ability, or you know, you'll see some swapping in that regard to enable a 5 set with 1 support. But Shrugger now playing a hit scan, which we haven't seen before, at least in the history that I know of.
We'll see what he's able to accomplish it right now with it right now, Hirix. And I think the real question is, what kind of a start can Bleh guys get? Because LCG were on fire. You know, they got pushed back momentarily, but at the start, that is. But they were able to pretty much cruise forward to about halfway through the map before we finally saw some real resistance from Bleh guys. So what kind of a start can they get off to with potentially this Bastion Orisa composition?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They're going with it, Hirix. They've got the Bastion. They've got the Orisa. Can they get set up for shop is the real question. Ooh, it looks like Chronodota barely makes it out alive, Hirix, as the Bastion is still in the mix. Hazy gets demeched, and they do have a Devo, which is going to be crucial, I think, to doing this slip.
Now Icy is getting pressured as well. Mystic just going to run at him, and they're holding here. Slayer Gramps on the Bastion, somehow staying alive, but Shrugger finally going to find that kill now, and it's like Calvin as a cat is going to die off as well in just a matter of time, as the support's trying to help each other stay alive, and LCG with a nice defense so far.
That's exactly what they needed. They force him off the Bastion. Couldn't ask for a better start. I guess maybe not losing a couple of people, but Hirix, I mean, they got a minute off the clock. They got rid of the kind of the cheese strategy, I guess you could say, coming out from those guys. Force them into a normal composition, and now they're going to be sitting on a tactical visor. Pulse bomb out there. 6 pulses. What a great start to that next fight. Maybe they can get rather aggressive off this.
And now Shrugger with the attack visor is trying to do just that. Does find the kill on the Calvin as a cat, but everybody else is going to be able to get away. So not getting too much out of it, but certainly securing enough time for everybody to get back into their defensive set positions now. And I think Slayer Gramps has snuck his way behind, and he has indeed. We'll have to see if he's able to get anything done off of this, as Ultima Web is searching for him, but can't quite sniff him out, and Slayer Gramps is going to be in a nice position to start up this next push.
Both teams ready to go with those Valkyries. Shrugger's going to be able to get rezzed up because they forced that one out there. A nice kill came out from Slayer Gramps, but they lose the mech from Mystic. He's actually fully out of the fight. Not a lot of ultimates really to work with from either side, but Icy now coming up on a Dragon Blade. Does he want to unsheath it in this fight? Doesn't look like he's going to really need to at this point, Hirix, but maybe they can find something with the Pulse Bomb coming out from Slayer Gramps. Self-destruct up in the air, finding nothing, to be quite honest, as Slayer is taken down. I'm looking for Icy to come up big with a Dragon Blade, but just not finding an opportunity to unsheath it.
And he's going to pull it out. Icy now looking to try to turn things around for his team and trying to find the Mercy, but completely denied, actually, by Ruby's Zenyatta. The Transcendence was just too effective, and now the attack visor coming out again from Shrugger. Can he find these kills? And it looks like he's not going to be able, again, he's not going to be able to find much with it. And last time we only saw him get one. This time he got nothing, but still a second one in this amount of time. Looking good for the Soldier at the moment, backing them up, forcing them to just fall back. He's pretty far forward right now, and they have another opportunity to jump on him here.
Needs to be careful. If Ultima Wep can land this Pulse Bomb, quite gonna look for it just yet. That would be pretty big. He came out on top in the one-on-one with Slayer Grams earlier in that previous fight, but again, Ninja Nick has the upper hand in terms of Valkyrie charge right now. This time around, it's gonna be Slayer. 2 are down. Ninja Nick needs to get charged up, needs to find a resurrect. He's gonna go ahead and go in for the first one. Finds Chrono Dota here, but nothing to really press in terms of offensive advantage from the side of Bleh guys. The Dragon Blade isn't ready, and Pulsus goes down.
And now Chrono Dota trying to make his way over, being very safe in the process. Shrugger's under fire right now by the D.Va, but actually he kills that D.Va off, forcing that remake from the self-destruct as Hazy goes back into it. Fluff taking fire. Another tack visor coming out from Shrugger. This time, again, not finding the kills that he's really looking for, but actually does secure one onto Icy with the help of that Tracer, and still putting that pressure on to force these guys off of the objective.
Need to find Pulsus, and here it looks like they're just kind of scrambling back to the payload if possible. Chrono Dota is here. They've got the Mercy coming back, but Ninja Nick doesn't quite have his ultimate. They're going to force him off the payload with the self-destruct. Going to buy themselves a little bit more time. Chrono Dota does have that primal range as well, but no, he's dropped mid-air by Icy. And Curix, I think they're going to grab the second checkpoint. They're going to get themselves an extra 230 here. Not quite as much as we saw from LCG when they were on offense.
Very solid first point hold so far. Shrugger looking pretty solid, just a little bit lackluster with the tack visors so far, whether he's being denied or, you know, the fight's already over or whatever. He's still just not really getting the kills that you would like to see from that. But now we do see them backed up into the spawn. Chrono Dota going to be eliminated as Hazy just pushes forward with the rest of these guys. Again, very aggressive on the front line here from Bleh guys. And they're going to secure a lot of distance here on the payload with that kill onto Chrono. But when they come back, think about what they have available. They do have that Transcendence, they do have that Primal Rage, could knock them about a bit, and we're really looking to see if Chrono Dota can be effective once again at knocking around a Zenyatta, especially if that Transcendence comes out from Calvin as a Cat. That's going to be very, very big to make sure that that Transcendence doesn't have that efficacy that they're looking for in this next fight.
Transcendence comes through. It's going to be a Primal Rage trying to find Pulsus if possible. Dragon Blade out from Icy in the back, but no, it's a Transcendence saving the day from Ruby. Great timing, able to mitigate that ultimate, or nullify it rather, and ensure that Icy isn't going to have much of an impact in this fight, but he's still looking for Ninja in the back. Self-destruct up top, see if he can find anything for himself. Gonna get a DMAC onto the D.Va at that Hurix, but if you're LCG right now, I mean, what you're wanting to do is really stall as long as you possibly can. You might have a little bit of time to still get a full regroup if possible, but it's only Chrono Dota, it's only Ninja Nick. It's looking like they're going to end up giving out, more than likely giving up the second checkpoint.
But the more time that they take off, the more possible it is that they're going to be able to make the hold in that third stage of the map, where it's certainly a lot easier for the defensive side. That second stage, kind of up in the air. You know, you could make some holds, but overall it is pretty easy to make a couple of really good pushes around with flanks, and we're going to be seeing Fluff make a great push actually into the back line, as well as he has that Primal Rage. They're just going to clean up so easily, so efficiently here. Storm, and now as they're looking for the Mercy, it looks like they will find that one as well. So going into that third stage of the map, they're going to have a lot of time to set their DPS players up, set their tank players up into a position where they can kind of better support them, as the support's likely to stay on that payload. But looking for that re-engagement here, Shrugger does have that tack visor, and you're certainly looking to see him get more kills than what we've seen previously.
Needs to come up big. Icy was actually forced to use the Dragon Blade in the last fight, so he more than likely will only have that one more time this map, which could be pretty big given the fact that Hurix right now they're going to have to win at least 2 team fights to come through with the W right now. And with Calvin as a Cat out of the picture, the trades kind of going back and forth for the most part. They force out the self-destruct, see if they can get a little distance covered. Hurix. Shrugger now makes a move over to the Genji. Interestingly enough, just didn't really get a whole lot done with the tactical visor again.
Chrono Dota still just doing a good job of just taking care of Icy, making sure that they get that damage onto the Genji to take him down, and they clean up, but that push is still happening to some degree. They finally knocked those supports back a little bit. Icy did get rezzed up. That's going to put that res on cooldown for Pulsus, but he's pretty close to having that Valkyrie, and that's going to be very important here, as that Resurrect is 15 seconds away. He's going to have that double charge to just continue that momentous push that they need right here, right now. 30 seconds remaining as Icy falls for a second time.
And Pulsus, like you said, Ninja Nick is well going to have the Valkyrie Hurix, and it's down to 30 seconds. I mean, look at the distance they need to cover right now. That is certainly 2 team fights. and the defense will clearly have that massive spawn advantage as that payload nears the golden box of victory, I guess you could say. But both support ultimates locked and loaded for both sides. Valkyrie comes out now from both ends with those transcendences. Shrugger coming up on a Dragon Blade, but Icy has one of his own. Can he find anything? He's looking for something, but no one gonna fall at the hands of the Dragon Blade. Now it's Shrugger's chance. He's got it. He's locked and loaded. The self-destruct up top doesn't find anything, but Pulses, he brings 2 back into the mix right now. Hazy is gonna be able to get a reset with that, with his mech in the back, but Keurig, they are dropping like flies. They've got the Primal Rage out from Chrono Donut. Self-destruct up top, looking for a kill. Not quite going to be the best placement, and it's looking like Bleh guys are making a little bit of room, but with Pulses out of the picture here, this could very well be it. We're in overtime. He's going to be taken down. Calvin is a cat. It's Hazy and Calvin on the payload. They are the lone survivors. No one else is even close right now. Here's overtime drops, and LCG take the tournament.
That was such a good engagement by LCG. They were just sitting there saying, you know what, we need to determine who's going to take this fight, who's going to be the aggressor, and they decided they were going to be the ones. And because of that, with that reactionary attack, they forced out the support ults from the attacking side so early on. Bleh guys were forced to just pop that Transcendence fairly early on, and because of that, there was just a big opening where as soon as Ruby and Ninja Nick pulled out support ults of their own, they were able to just be at that much of an advantage, having those up, having that extra healing